So today's video, I thought I would react to some fan fictions on the next step. Someone that writes some fan fictions. I will do a video where I read some of my fan fictions, and so let's have a look. This first one, it's interesting. It's the next step. All of these are on Wattpad. This one's called Empire, the next step. It's interesting. Meet Harper. Her whole family moved up from Madison when she was just 12, so herself and her sister Michelle had no choice but to change dance studios. They were both technically trained dancers. Michelle auditioned for a new studio called The Next Step, made the competitive team. She was convinced her younger sister to join their junior troupe. Harper met to J Troupe. She met her closest friend Noah. They clicked. And a girl the same age, Rochelle, joined. They became best friends. They danced on J Troupe. This is actually so interesting, this one. She wasn't quite on Rochelle's level because, let's face it, who is very strong at contemporary ballet jazz. Plus she had a few tricks to throw out, made her dancing even better. Her only weak point was hip hop. This one was very interesting. There's a lot of, really enjoyed this one. The next step. So we'll look at this one. Pressure.
A few moments later.
This one sounds quite interesting. Kira smiled as she looked around the studio that she was keen to. James and Eldon by her side. It was time for another year. It's definitely about A Troupe and the troops.
A few moments later.
I was on A Troupe last year, but in the year before I was on B Troupe. It was when I first joined 2 years ago I realised that this was where I wanted to be. I wanted to develop my level of dance. To re-audition this year, which is fair, only the best dancers can make it. Kira was working on her turns, waiting for the audition to begin. This is what an audition like. If she had a strong spot, it would definitely be acro. So Chris and Dorfintel. Hey, Riley, Kira smiled and gave her small hug. Though Riley's sister hated Kira, the two girls were still really close. About the girls. Point where Michelle comes in. So we're going back to group 4, but this time with Michelle. So that's James, Eldon, Giselle, Kira and Michelle, who is from Wisconsin and she's auditioning for A Troupe. Michelle begins. She's amazing. Kira smiled and she watched Michelle dance around the room. This one's very interesting. This is one I've read before and it's my favourite one. This one's called Olivia. I've said that right. I'm nervous, I whispered as Michelle and me stood outside of the door of the studio. We hopefully be spending most of our time for the next few years. Olivia, you have to listen to me. You may be younger, but you are amazing. Even say better than me. I laughed. Thought this one's my favourite I've probably read. This one took me a while to read, but I do like it. This one, she always knows how to. Don't get carried away, she shook her head with a smile. I'm being 100% serious. I'm mainly contemporary and some hip hop, but somehow do contemporary and hip hop. You're amazing. Now come on, we need to go in. She opened the door, walked in and slowly walked behind her, letting my hair fall over my face as everyone turns to look at us. Are the auditions in here right? Michelle spoke for both of us. Around noticing the looks from everyone and folding my arms over myself. Everyone take 5, the woman added, and the male beside her walked to us. Hi, she reached her hand to Michelle. Shook her hand. Chris, he greeted. Olivia, he moved his hand to Michelle, and Pleasant, the woman held her hand to me. Miss Kate, Olivia. This one's probably like my favourite. Like, this is literally so good. It has so many things that. Such an interesting story. Like, there's all the twists and the turns. Next step, Hunger Games. Sounds so interesting. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the 86th Annual Hunger Games. Alpha Trickett says and claps. No one else claps. No one wants to get picked. Well, as usual, ladies first, she says, and walks over to a large glass bowl. All of the names are in here. Mine is in there more than once, so if I get picked, my family will have food to survive on. Fills every single name and finally chooses one. She pulls it out and it says, Michelle Baldessera. Says everyone looks at me and makes a path so that I walk onto the stage. I take a step forward and walk towards the stage where Alpha is smiling at me, gesturing for me to come onto the stage. Female tribute, Michelle Baldessera, she says and claps. Look to everyone who's staring at me and I stare at them. Now for the gentleman, says, and puts her hand inside the glass bowl. She twirls her hand and finally picks out a name. Hunter Vron. She announces everyone looks to see the boy. District 1, Eldon and Emily. District 2, Rochelle and Noah. District 3, Stephanie and West. District 4, Sierra and Jake. District 5, Michelle and Hunter. District 6, Riley and James. District 7, Talia and Daniel. District 9, Giselle and Max. District 10, Amanda and Josh. District 11, Skylar and Nick. District 2, Abby and Shad. Wow. Interesting. Definitely going to have to read a lot of these in full because they're so interesting. Back to the next step. I obviously started. Not read this one in a long time. Charlie later on. Let's read this one. James will be home in an hour. He doesn't know that I took this last one. How could I tell him that his wife can't give him children? So look at the next step, Lost and Found. Piper slowly bobbed her head to the music that played through her earphones. She did tiny arm movements, which was a clear indication that she was dancing in her head. She had blocked out her brother and his friends' silly jokes and conversations that they had been having the entire crowd journey, and was focused on achieving her very best this dance season. It was very interesting. James looks at his mirror and chuckled at the sight of his sister. What are you choreographing? I did like Piper and James, I will say. Like, I like that they're like the first siblings that weren't same sex. They would drive into the building that was both the Next Step Dance Studio and Lost and Found. Both the boys were musicians. James used to dance at the Next Step. James's friend Luke was sat in the front passenger seat and humming along to the song that played on the radio. Although James's car was old, or vintage, as he liked to call it, the radio still had a tape deck. Piper leaned forward in her seat, pulling the seatbelt to loosen it slightly. She pulled out one earphone. I'm not sure. Rochelle said she heard Emily talking about the showcase, so I'm just trying to make some material. Oh, sick. We're doing a showcase too. That sounds quite interesting. Luke exclaimed to continue to bop his head to the music. I like how this includes like Lost and Found and Next Step. He texted his band's group chat that he and James would be arriving soon. Mr. T said that we're doing it to get new members and to show people what we're all about. Some talent scouts might even come. That's really cool. Hopefully we'll get some scouts too. James turned the corner onto the street that their building was on. TNS hadn't done a non-competitive showcase in ages. I know it would be nice not to be as stressed out. Piper gave a relieved sigh and unclipped her seatbelt once James had pulled into the space on the side of the street. She showed her phone and her earphone, shoved her phone and earphones into the pocket of her dance bag. Thanks, James. She eagerly popped open her door and jumped out, pulled her bag onto her shoulder. James waved to her while Luke opened his own door and stepped out onto the road. I'll tell Mr. T you're parking up. Thanks, bro. James adjusted himself in his seat, ready to drive again, but then remembered something. He clicked his fingers to get Piper's attention, but before she was too far away to hear. She turned round, walked slowly towards her brother, who was sticking his head out of the window. Can you see if Emily wants a ride home? I'm going to see Riley, so it'll save her getting the bus. Piper chuckled at how trivial that was. Oh yeah, sure. This one's so amazing. I could literally read the whole thing, but I'm not going to. The Next Step National Season 5. Come again. The studio was dark with all the lights switched off. It had been the way for a few weeks, given the dancers had a break after winning regionals. But now we're back. The song Coming Home bursts out the studio speakers, and Noah hit play with everyone celebrating the win with a good old-fashioned group dance. Pirouettes, flips were being thrown out everywhere. But it was a bit different. Dance members were missing. It seemed there was a hole in the team. Noah, yeah, that's right, guys. We're back from regionals. I still can't believe we won. I came from J Troop and to A Troop, and I never thought I would come this far. Michelle, after winning regionals, we've been getting a lot of fan mail, so it's been nice to sort of sit down and have a look at what people say. Riley, I can't believe it. We won regionals again. I feel like I've come so far. I mean, I went to regionals, nationals, and internationals as a team member, and now I get to go as a studio head. I'm super chuffed. The dancers were in the best moods. Nothing could destroy the atmosphere until the worst thing can happen. The lights cut out along with all other electrons. Ooh, this sounds so interesting. Gonna have to read on. Okay, guys, we seem to have a power cut, I hope, said Riley as looking around in the one dark room. I have no idea why the electricity is cut out. It's all freaky being here in the dark. I mean, Hey, just gonna go down and check the juice splash is open. Michelle, can you come with? Riley asked. The juice bar was beneath the dance studio. Had changed hands again. It seemed that every new dance season it would get passed on. Michelle and Riley walked into the juice bar Splosh. Very good name for a juice bar, and were shocked to see it was open and busy. Maybe it's just the studio, Michelle suggested. Hello, have you experienced any problems with electricity? Riley asked the shop assistant. No, sorry, she replied politely. Riley, oh, this is not good. Back in the studio, there was a lot of commotion, and they all waited for Riley to return with Michelle. Okay, I think it's just the studio because Juice Splosh still has power, the studio head explained. Riley went into her office, sat down at her desk. Everyone in the dance space could see her through the window. She looked very stressed. Suddenly, Rochelle went into the office. Excuse me, Riley, she asked. Oh yes, Rochelle, how can I help you? Riley replied kindly. I was just thinking maybe the electrics have blown out because they're old, Rochelle suggested. Yes, Rochelle, hello. Why didn't I think of that? Yes, maybe it'll call an electrician, she said, and she frankly reached for her mobile phone. Yes, hello. This is the Next Step Dance Studio. We're calling about an electricity problem. And remember, extend your legs as much as you can, Noah said to Amanda as they talk over juice. Since there's no power in the studio, Amanda and I decided to come to the juice bar to talk about dance and improvements. Also, when your pirouettes, make sure that your legs tucked in up high, and Noah advised in a friendly way. Hey, do you think there'll be auditions for the nationals team? Don't tell anyone, but I kinda hope there is, Amanda whispered. What, why? Noah asked. I thought we all got on well, he said. Amanda hesitated. No, it's just some dancers I feel like shouldn't be on the team, she admitted. Noah's intrigued. He wanted to know more. Like who? Noah inquired. Don't tell anyone but Sloan and Alfie, she said quietly. It's not that I take dislike to anyone on the team, but I think we'd benefit from fresh and new dance team. You know what? I think Amanda's right. A new team is what we need. The electrician walked into Riley's office, knocking many boxes over in process. Hey, careful, she exclaimed. The man shot her an evil look. I mean, hey, good to see you. This is an emergency, Riley fidgeted. I'm not exactly sure what is up with the electrician guy. He looks kind of weird. What's the problem? He asked. Can you not see what the problem is? I mean, we have no electricity, so we need to be fixed ASAP. I'm trying to run a studio here. I need to begin soon, said Riley, scratching the back of her head. Sounds very interesting. Like, very interesting. Like, I could definitely react to some more. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in another video. Bye.